There are moments in life when you look back and realize that the person you were trying so hard to be was the very reason you lost yourself. This is Lillian's story. And if you've ever loved someone so much that you forgot to love yourself, this story is for you too. Lillian was 23 when she met him. He had that kind of ambition that lights up a room, the kind that makes you believe you're standing next to someone destined for greatness. And she decided right then and there that she would be the woman who understood him. The woman who never complained. The woman who made his life easier, not harder. I'll be different, she told herself. I'll be the most understanding girlfriend he's ever had. And she was. God, she really was. When he said he needed to focus on building his career, she smiled and said, I understand. When Friday nights turned into late nights at the office, she didn't ask questions. When their plans got canceled because something more important came up, she simply rescheduled her heart and waited. Because that's what understanding girlfriends do, right? They wait. They adapt. They make space. But here's what Lillian didn't know yet. What none of us know until it's almost too late. There's a difference between understanding someone and erasing yourself for them. Her best friend Anazi saw it first. One evening over coffee, as Lillian explained why she couldn't make their weekly dinner again, because he had an important networking event, Anazi put down her cup and looked at her with those eyes that cut through pretense. Lillian, can I tell you something? Of course, Lillian said, already preparing to defend him. What you're calling understanding, I think it's actually advanced self-deception. The words hung in the air like smoke. Lillian laughed it off, but the words had already found their way in, settling somewhere deep where uncomfortable truths tend to hide. I'm just being supportive, Lillian protested. He's building something. He needs someone who gets it. But does he get you? Anazi asked quietly. Does he even know what you're building? What you need? What you dream about? Lillian opened her mouth to answer, but nothing came out. Because the truth was she had stopped talking about her dreams. She had folded them up neatly and tucked them away, making room for his. That's what you do when you love someone, she had told herself. You make room. But Anazi wasn't done. She leaned forward, her voice gentle but firm. Listen to me carefully because I love you and this is important. Kindness without clarity is an emotional loan. And baby, you've been lending your whole heart without ever asking when, or if, it's going to be paid back. Kindness without clarity is an emotional loan. The phrase echoed in Lillian's mind long after she left that coffee shop. But she pushed it away. She had invested too much to start asking questions now. Questions felt like doubt, and doubt felt like betrayal. So she continued. She continued understanding when he said he wasn't ready to meet her parents yet. She continued understanding when their 2-year anniversary passed with barely a phone call because he was closing a deal. She continued understanding when her friends stopped inviting her out because they knew she'd cancel anyway. Month by month she became smaller, quieter, more accommodating. And somehow she convinced herself this was love's true form. Sacrifice without expectation, patience without limit, understanding without end. She started planning their future in her head. She imagined their wedding, something simple, maybe by the beach. She thought about what their home would look like, how she'd arrange the furniture, what color they'd paint the nursery someday. She even started a secret Pinterest board titled, Our Future. Every pin was a promise she made to herself. This waiting will be worth it. But while Lillian was building castles in her mind, she failed to notice that she was building them alone. He never talked about their future. Not really. When she'd gently bring it up, carefully, so carefully, because she didn't want to pressure him, he'd give vague responses. Yeah, someday, he'd say. When things settle down. When I'm more established. When the timing's right. And Lillian, the ever-understanding girlfriend, would nod and smile and say, Of course I understand. There's no rush. But there was a rush. Time was moving and she was standing still, waiting for him to catch up to the future she had already built in her heart. 3 years turned into 4. 4 turned into 5. And somewhere in that time, Lillian stopped recognizing herself in the mirror. The woman staring back at her had perfected the art of swallowing words. She had learned to smile when she wanted to scream, to say it's fine when nothing was fine, to be present while slowly disappearing. Her mother noticed it during one of their phone calls. Mama Lillian had a way of hearing what wasn't being said. "Baby girl, you sound tired," her mother said. "Not body tired, soul tired." "I'm okay, Mama. Just busy." "Busy understanding that man of yours?" Lillian felt her throat tighten. "He's under a lot of pressure, Mama. I'm just trying to be supportive." There was a long pause. Then her mother's voice came through, soft but weighted with wisdom. "Lillian, let me tell you something my own mother told me when I was your age. Understanding is good. It's one of the most beautiful things you can give another person. But when you understand too much, you forget yourself. And baby, a woman who forgets herself ends up living in someone else's story instead of writing her own." Lillian felt tears prick her eyes, but she blinked them away. "I'm not forgetting myself, Mama. Aren't you? When's the last time you told me about something you wanted? Something that had nothing to do with him?" Silence. "That's what I thought," her mother said gently. "Love shouldn't require you to become invisible, baby." But Lillian wasn't ready to hear it. Not yet. Because admitting that would mean admitting that the last 5 years, all that patience, all that understanding, all that waiting might have been for nothing. So she held on tighter. She understood harder. She convinced herself that this was just a season, that soon they'd be on the other side of his ambition, and then finally, they could start their life together. Then came the promotion. He called her, excitement bursting through the phone. "I got it, Lil. The VP position. Everything we've been working toward. Everything we've been working toward." The words should have warmed her, but something about them felt hollow. "That's amazing," she said, and she meant it. She really did. "I'm so proud of you. We should celebrate. Maybe this weekend we could." "Actually, there's something else," he interrupted. "The position requires relocating. They want me in New York. New York. Across the country. Away from everything she knew." "Oh," she said, her heart already doing the mental gymnastics of understanding. "Well, when would you leave?" 3 months. "They want me to start in January." 3 months. Lillian's mind raced. Okay, she could do this. She could quit her job, leave her family, start over. People did it all the time for love. This was it. This was finally them moving forward together. "So I guess we need to start planning," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "I'll need to give notice at work, and we should start looking at apartments in New York. I've heard Brooklyn is nice, or maybe." "Lillian." His voice stopped her mid-sentence. I need to focus on this transition. It's going to be intense. The first year especially. The first year. Not let's figure this out together. Not I can't do this without you. Not come with me. Just the first year." "What are you saying?" she asked, though part of her already knew. "I'm saying maybe we should take a step back. Just temporarily. Let me get established and then we can see where things are." Take a step back. Temporarily. See where things are. These were the words people used when they were letting go but didn't want to feel like the bad guy. "You're breaking up with me," she said flatly. No, it's not like that. I just think I need to be smart about this opportunity. I can't be distracted. You understand, right? You understand, right?" Those 3 words. The same 3 words she'd been saying to herself for 5 years. Now they were being used against her, like a weapon forged from her own understanding. And out of habit, pure heartbreaking habit, Lillian heard herself say, "I understand." But this time something cracked inside her. They agreed to stay in touch. That's what people say when they want to keep a door open just in case, when they want to leave without the guilt of slamming it shut completely. He left for New York in January just as planned. And Lillian? She stayed behind, living in the ghost of a relationship that had ended but never really died. She threw herself into work, into keeping busy, into anything that would stop her from thinking about how she had spent 5 years preparing for a wedding that was never going to happen. 5 years building a home in her heart that only she was living in. Anazi tried to be supportive, but there was an "I told you so" hanging in the air between them that neither of them acknowledged. "You're going to be okay," Anazi would say, squeezing her hand. "Better than okay. You're going to remember who you were before him." But that was the problem. Lillian couldn't remember. She had been 23 when they met. She was 28 now. Who had she been before? What had she wanted? She had spent so long being understanding that she had forgotten what it felt like to be understood. The months crawled by. He texted occasionally, surface-level updates about his new job, the New York weather, a funny thing that happened at work. Never anything deep. Never anything that mattered. Just enough to keep that door open, just enough to keep her waiting. And God help her, she waited. Until the day she saw the photo. It was on social media, of course. Because that's how we learn the truths that shatter us now. Scrolling through our phones on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon. There he was, at some company gala. Black tie event. He looked good. Successful. Like he had always told her he would be. But he wasn't alone. Next to him stood a woman. She was beautiful, confident, wearing a dress that probably cost more than Lillian's rent. But it wasn't her beauty that made Lillian's hands shake. It was the caption. Celebrating this incredible journey with my amazing partner. Couldn't have done it without you. Here's to our future. Our future. The future that was supposed to be theirs. The future Lillian had been patiently, understandingly waiting for. He had found it. Just not with her. The phone slipped from Lillian's hands. She sat there on her couch, in the apartment she had once imagined leaving to start their life together. And something inside her finally completely broke open. Not broke down. Broke open. Because sometimes we have to shatter before we can see clearly. She called Anazi, her voice eerily calm. You were right. About what, honey? About everything. About the self-deception. About the emotional loan. About all of it. Anazi rushed over. She found Lillian sitting in the dark, phone still on the floor, tears streaming silently down her face. I saw the photo, Lillian whispered. He's with someone else. He's building the future we talked about. Just not with me. Anazi sat beside her, wrapping her in a hug that felt like it was holding together all of Lillian's broken pieces. I was preparing for marriage alone, Lillian continued, her voice cracking. All those years I was building something by myself, convincing myself he was building it too. But he wasn't. He was building his career, his success, his future. And I was just there, understanding, always understanding, never asking, never demanding, never questioning. You assumed instead of asking, Anazi said gently. I assumed instead of asking, Lillian repeated, the words tasting bitter. I thought that if I was patient enough, understanding enough, low maintenance enough, that I would be chosen, that I would be the one. But you know what I realized? What? You can't understand your way into being loved. You can't be so accommodating that someone decides you're worth committing to. That's not how it works. And her voice broke. I made myself so small that I became easy to leave. The sobs came then, 5 years worth of swallowed words and suppressed needs and ignored red flags, all pouring out at once. Anazi held her through it all, rocking her gently. When the tears finally subsided, she pulled back and looked Lillian in the eyes. You want to know what I think that photo really shows you? Lillian nodded, wiping her face. It shows you what alignment looks like. He didn't choose her because she's better than you. He chose her because she matched where he was going. Because she probably asked questions, set expectations, made her needs clear. She didn't wait for him to be ready. She was already ready, and he had to rise to meet her. That's alignment, Lil. And it hurts like hell to see it with someone else, but at least now you know what it actually looks like. The weeks that followed were the hardest of Lillian's life. Not because of the heartbreak, though that was real and raw and relentless, but because she had to confront a truth more painful than his leaving. She had abandoned herself long before he ever did. She started therapy, not because anyone told her to, but because she needed to understand how she had become a woman who said, I understand, when she should have been saying, what about me? Her therapist, Dr. Chun, was kind but direct. In their third session, she asked Lillian a question that changed everything. Lillian, when did you decide that your needs were negotiable? The question landed like a stone in still water, ripples spreading outward. I don't know what you mean. When did you decide? Dr. Chun repeated slowly. That love meant making yourself smaller. That partnership meant silence. That understanding meant never asking for what you need. Lillian stared at her hands. I just want it to be easy to love. And how did that work out? The bluntness of it should have stung, but instead it felt like relief. Someone was finally saying out loud what she had been too afraid to admit. It didn't, Lillian whispered. I made myself so easy to love that I became easy to leave. Dr. Chun leaned forward. Here's what I want you to understand, Lillian. Real love, the kind that lasts, the kind that builds something real, it doesn't ask you to disappear. It doesn't require you to have no needs, no questions, no voice. That's not understanding. That's self-erasure. And you can't build a partnership when only one person is actually present. Lillian felt something shift in her chest. Like a door she didn't know was locked suddenly swinging open. So what do I do now? She asked, her voice small. Now? Now you learn to ask questions. You learn that expressing your needs isn't selfishness. It's self-respect. You learn the difference between being understanding and being a doormat. And most importantly, you learn to take up space again. Take up space again. Lillian realized she had been holding her breath for 5 years. It was time to exhale. The transformation didn't happen overnight. There was no magical moment where she woke up healed and whole. But slowly, deliberately, Lillian started to rebuild herself. She joined a book club, something just for her. She started saying no to things she didn't want to do without following it up with a paragraph of explanations and apologies. She reconnected with friends she had neglected, including one from college who told her, I missed you. Not the you that you became, but the you that you were. The one who laughed too loud and had opinions and wasn't afraid to challenge me. Where did she go? She's coming back, Lillian said. And she meant it. She went back to her mother's house for a weekend. Sitting on the porch where she had spent countless childhood evenings, Mama Lillian brought her tea and sat beside her. Mama, Lillian said, you tried to warn me. You said I was forgetting myself. Her mother took her hand. Baby, you didn't forget yourself. You just put yourself on hold, thinking that was what love required. A lot of us do it. We're taught that being a good woman means being understanding, accommodating, patient. We're taught to wait, to not ask for too much, to make ourselves convenient. But that's not love, is it? No, baby. That's fear. Fear that if we show up fully, with all our needs and questions and expectations, will be too much. But let me tell you something. The right person won't find you too much. The right person will say, finally, someone who knows what she wants and isn't afraid to ask for it. Lillian felt tears sliding down her cheeks, but they were different this time. Not tears of grief, but tears of recognition, of coming home to herself. Mama, you told me that understanding is good, but when you understand too much, you forget yourself. I finally get what you meant. Her mother smiled, squeezing her hand. Understanding has to go both ways, baby. It's not just you understanding him. It's him understanding you. It's both of you understanding that you're building something together. Not you building alone while he decides whether or not to move in. Building together. Not building alone. Those words became Lillian's compass. She started dating again eventually, but this time it was different. This time, when a man said something vague about his intentions, she asked follow-up questions. When plans got canceled, she didn't just say, I understand. She asked when they could reschedule and held him to it. When she felt herself starting to shrink, to accommodate, to make herself smaller, she caught herself and chose differently. 6 months after seeing that photo, Lillian was having dinner with a man named Marcus. He was kind, successful, and genuinely interested in her. They'd been seeing each other for about a month when he said something that would have once sent old Lillian into understanding mode. I'm going to be really busy the next few weeks, Marcus said. Big project at work. I might not be as available. Old Lillian would have smiled and said, of course, I completely understand. Just let me know when you're free. But new Lillian, the one who was learning to take up space, put down her fork and looked him in the eyes. Okay, she said calmly. What does not as available mean to you? Because I need to know if we're talking about less frequent dates or if we're talking about disappearing for weeks. And if you're going to be busy, I need to know that you still want to prioritize building this connection, even if it looks different for a while. Marcus blinked, clearly surprised by the directness. Then something remarkable happened. He smiled. You know what? That's actually really refreshing. I appreciate you asking instead of just saying okay. and then potentially feeling neglected. He thought for a moment. What not as available means is that I might not be able to do weeknight dinners, but I still want to see you on weekends. And I'll text you goodnight even when I'm working late, because I want you to know I'm thinking about you. Is that okay? Lillian felt something warm spread through her chest. This was what mutual understanding looked like. This was what happened when both people showed up clearly. Yes, she said. That works for me. It was such a small moment, but for Lillian it was everything. Because for the first time she had asked a question and gotten a real answer. She had expressed a need and been met with respect instead of vague promises. Anazi noticed the change too. They were having their weekly dinner, the one Lillian now never missed, when Anazi raised her glass. I want to make a toast, she said. To what? To my best friend who's no longer shrinking, who's expressing her needs without apology, who's asking questions instead of making assumptions, who's building her life instead of waiting for permission to start living. Lillian felt her eyes water. When did you notice? I've been watching it happen bit by bit. The way you speak now, there's no hesitation, no apologizing for taking up space. You're not trying to be convenient anymore. You're just you, fully unapologetically you. And Lil? You're magnificent. They clinked glasses and Lillian took a sip, letting the moment settle into her bones. You know what's funny? Lillian said. I used to think that being understanding meant never asking for anything. I thought it meant absorbing everything quietly, adapting to whatever someone else needed. I thought that's what made me a good partner. And now I know that real understanding is a two-way street. It's not just me understanding his ambitions, his needs, his timeline. It's him understanding mine too. It's both of us being willing to ask hard questions and give honest answers. It's both of us showing up to build something together. Not me building alone and hoping he'll eventually walk into the house I constructed by myself. Anazi reached across the table and squeezed her hand. That's exactly right. And you know what else you've learned? What? That kindness without clarity really is an emotional loan. And you've stopped lending pieces of yourself without asking what the terms are. Lillian laughed, shaking her head. I can't believe it took me 5 years to learn that lesson. Hey, Anazi said firmly. Don't do that. Don't minimize what you went through. That relationship taught you something invaluable. It taught you what you'll never accept again. Sometimes we have to experience what we don't want to become crystal clear about what we do want. And she was right. Because Lillian now knew what she would never tolerate again. Vague answers when she asked direct questions, canceled plans without rescheduling, someone who said they wanted a future with her but never took concrete steps toward it. Feeling like she had to earn love through silence and understanding, relationships where only one person was doing the emotional work. But she also knew what she would no longer settle for anything less than. Someone who met her clarity with clarity, someone who saw her needs as valid, not burdensome, someone who wanted to build with her, not have her wait while he built alone, someone who understood that love isn't just about sacrifice. It's about mutual showing up, mutual investment, mutual care. A year after that devastating photo, Lillian's phone buzzed. It was him. The first time he'd reached out in months. Hey, I'm going to be in town next week for work. Would love to catch up if you're free. I've been thinking about you. Old Lillian would have felt her heart race, would have analyzed every word, would have said yes immediately just to see him, just to hear his voice, just to feel like maybe she still mattered to him. But new Lillian read the message, felt nothing but mild curiosity, and then deleted it without responding, because she had learned the most important lesson of all. Some questions don't need answers. Some doors don't need to be kept open. Some people don't deserve access to the version of you that you worked so hard to rebuild. She thought about texting him back with everything she wished she had said 5 years ago. All the questions she should have asked. All the needs she should have expressed. All the clarity she should have demanded. But then she realized, he didn't deserve that gift. Those words, that clarity, that fully present version of herself, those were for someone who valued them. Someone who wouldn't take her understanding for granted. Someone who would understand her right back. So instead, she put her phone away and called Marcus. Hey, she said when he answered. I know you're busy with your project, but I was thinking about you and wanted to hear your voice. Do you have 5 minutes? For you? Always. Let me just step away from my desk. She heard him moving, heard a door close, heard him settling in to give her his full attention even in the middle of his busy day. Okay, he said. I'm all yours. What's going on? I'm all yours. For simple words. But they meant everything. Because they meant he was choosing to be present. Choosing to show up. Choosing her actively, not passively. Nothing's wrong, Lillian said, smiling. I just wanted to tell you that I appreciate you. The way you communicate clearly. The way you make time even when you're busy. The way I never have to wonder where I stand with you. There was a pause, then Marcus's voice came through, warm and sincere. Lillian, that means a lot to me. And I want you to know I appreciate that you ask for what you need. That you tell me when something bothers you. That you're building this with me, not just waiting for me to build it. This feels like a real partnership, and I don't take that for granted.